Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? In Mark chapter 13, verse 11, the yellow highlighted text that you see, Jesus teaches sometimes the words people say are not their own words. The words are from or by Holy Spirit. And in Matthew chapter 10, verse 20, Jesus teaches, Holy Spirit is our Father's word speaking from your mouth. Now, I did some editing in the blue and green highlighting, and the word in, and I had to add the word through, because we have 4 examples of our Father's words. The first example, Luke chapter 1, verse 67, tells us when Zacharias declared John's the Baptist's life, these words had to be said by our Creator, for he prophesied John's life. The second example we have is Luke chapter 1, verse 41, when out of Elizabeth's mouth she declared Mary's son is blessed. These 2 verses prove their words were our Creator's words coming from their mouths. The third and fourth example are in Luke chapter 12, verse 12, and Matthew chapter 12, verse 28, where Jesus teaches our Creator's words will be said in their mind, and then they are to say his words. Other examples of our Creator's words coming to their mind are in the Hebrew text, where the prophets are being told to go out, and then our Creator will tell them what to say. Thus, Jesus teaches us there is no Trinity. And I'm back. I'm proving there are hidden formats in the text, and right now I can show you what I found in Ezekiel 6 and 5 and 6. Let me go up to 5, because today I have enough to show you a 3-verse format and a 4-verse format. A 3-verse format is described above my head, but when you get a good close look at it, what this is this first verse becomes a statement with a period, and this comma continues to this period as a sentence, but it is actually describing what this statement is. It also makes a small paragraph, and I get a second-like grouping that matches the text here, or the one above, and that becomes a larger paragraph when you stick those 2 together. And then then I put 2 spaces between them to divide the text up, so you can see this when I pull out a little bit more. You can see it better with, like here. See how these are grouped? And then in a 4-verse grouping, the text becomes a comma and a period that these 2 verses make a sentence. And again, they do this same like sentence, and then they become a paragraph. And then it repeats itself again, or a very like wording, to become a group together. So that's the style of the writing that I'm looking for. Now, I don't try to make them actually appear. They will appear on their own. It's how the editing goes from the text that makes it a little bit more difficult for other people to find the true meaning of the words. Now, I had this almost same like beginning here, up here in 6. Face man, how's your health been? Hope you've been getting better. I've still got it in the back of my throat. I got rid of it, and then I got it back again. But thanks for stopping by and concerned of my health there. See, I still got a cough, and I still got a cough drop in my throat here, or in my mouth. But I find that the wordings that I'm finding for Ezekiel is pretty good here, for the simple fact that when I'm looking for a long story, this is now starting to become a really good long story. Even though that there was a 4-verse here, this kind of did divide it up, but this here grouping here actually goes with this other chapter 4, which is a 4-verse, and then this actually continues from above here, which is a 4-verse, and this is a 4-verse. So all of this and this here as well is all one story. So that's really good to see, since chapter 1 all the way to 6, I believe, or no, yeah, up to 6. So 1 through 5 is one story, which is fantastic. That doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to try to do chapter 7 and 8 in this afternoon video here. So I hope you're doing fine there, and I want to get through this a little bit, but if you have a question, go ahead and put it up and I'll answer it, or hopefully I can answer it. Words, this would be, if this is true, this is going to be words. From YV, and when I remove the title, Lord, they'd have the word the in front of it, the Lord. So I left it as his name. Words from YV came to me saying, and this he didn't say here, came to me saying, and this, because it was a 4-verse when this happened, I had these like this. And then, let's see, thus says, or this was said, the end is coming on the 4 corners of your land. Let me put up Psalms, and that way you have something else to read while I'm sitting here going through this a little bit. For those of you that are new and watching this video other than being live, I have the ending is coming. This has already been said. And let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, your ending is coming and removed forever. And this was the kingdom Israel. Okay. So I already have like words saying this. But he wouldn't be speaking directly to the land, so that is kind of odd. So I can't really use that. But this has already been said in the above text. So you just have to trust me on that or watch the last video. But that is out. And then not have no pity on you, Usper. And all this is so similar to the text that I did here. Their ending is coming, you're going to be removed. There's a remnant that's going to be left, and then there's going to be some that have fled that he's scattered around, and they will remember me among that kingdom where they were taken as captives. So this has all been a double, And now it's kind of repeating again. And it's repeating the same stuff over again. So don't need a repeat of almost the exact same words. This, okay, since I'm throwing things out, I'll throw that out as well. He doesn't spend his anger against you. But this has already been said about their destruction. See, again, no pity. That I do the smiting, I do the killing. So, anyways, behold the day, behold, coming your doom. This is nothing. That's just our Creator's not worried about their wealth when He's sending them away. If the story was longer and that piece would have fit into the story, yes. Time has come, the day has arrived. A day will arrive. Averted is actually, you can tell that wouldn't be in their vocabulary. I don't think any of this is really saying anything but what I've already got. No one is going to battle, but yet they're coming. Israel was battled, but they were dying on the field, and that's what's been going on with the other text above this. So this famine doesn't happen. The famine happens only when at Jerusalem that they're going to be besieged, and Israel was not sieged. And by the way, this text has pretty much been right about this king, Ezekiel, although they're trying to make sometimes it's from here, and sometimes I've got text. No, this isn't. No, this is Isaiah. Or Ezekiel. This new one. Isaiah was the one that jumping around, but right now because this king put things, he carved an idol of his goddess and put it in our Creator's meeting room with him, and that's was said in the above text. So it's pretty much Ezekiel's going to be the prophet at this time. And right now we only have text from Jeremiah talking about two prophets at this time. One is Micah and another one is Uriah. And it's because one of them came just before him. Yeah, Micah would have came here. And then this king did not kill him. And yet this king killed him, Uriah. And then they're debating about killing Jeremiah in this story somewhere right around in here. So that's how I know that there's those names from other prophets have already been mentioned. But when it comes down to Ezekiel being so much at this time, maybe there was nobody Uriah, because we don't have a actual book from named after a prophet. So maybe it is Ezekiel who flees to Egypt, and then the king sent him down there and killed him, or brought him back and had him killed. It's the only way I'm seeing this text happen. This doesn't happen until the end. of Judah. There's no mountains in Israel. These will become like water. Well, I don't think so. Baldness on their head. No, that isn't. Fling their silver into the streets, and their gold become. There's gold and silver, and able to deliver them. And this is just. It could be text that I could say, okay, they might have been said, but they would just be a small piece. I don't know where I'd stick it with anything right now, but this I'm just going to call out because I got so many words already from Isaiah and Jeremiah about Judah being taken away, and this here is about Israel. And what I'm talking about might be confusing you. It's because when this is being talked, 1/3, he's going to cut his hair on his head. And he's doing this for besieging, and then he's going to tell them about what's going to happen in Jerusalem. So this text is actually about Jerusalem, but it's being said at, let me see, what I think it's said early here. Maybe Micah and Uriah are all words from Ezekiel. No, it can't be. Got to have two different prophets here. But right now I've got these 3 names I'm juggling in my head. And he's going to be talking about the prophecy to come. So Israel is gone. They fled to here. Some of it fled to there. So I've got text there. Okay, I'm just trying to put this into my head to see, make sure that what I'm throwing away I'm really, truly okay with. Got so many words about how they made their idols and how they put their money into them and how they're worshipped and how they pour out libations or oils or wines to them. The Creator doesn't have a secret place. So you can see that some of these words are oversalted in here. They're the chain for the land? I don't think so. No, I'm good with getting rid of this. And that's not the worst of the nations going to come, and he's going to leave it desolate. And it's for a mocking of the travelers going by. This is all out. Then they'll seek a vision from the prophet, but the law will be laws. But this has been described more in detail another place. And what I'm thinking is they're copying what they want to put in different ways to be said different ways among those books. They got bored. In other words, they just wanted to create another book and said, okay, they had in the prophet Ezekiel, and we can add all this other stuff into his books. See, the prince will be clothed with horror, and that's they didn't have princes. That's something from what kings do for pagan kings. Is their eldest son is known as the prince, but Israel's time, the king picked one of his sons, so they wouldn't be known as a prince or princess, or prince, yeah. So I'll judge them, and they'll know that I am YHVH. Pretty much out. That wasn't a very good start here. Now this I like because we got some numbers here. And I use numbers to be able to word search the text easier. But we don't have what king's year. See, when you have text like this, you have to date it next to a king. And here he was sitting in his house with elders from Judah. And they're going to have this vision that he's having while he's sitting there with these elders, which never happens. Or this would be a first if that happens. So what did I have here in this text that I've revealed so far? When was that? Right at the very beginning. In the 10th year, the 10th and 3rd, on the 6th day of the 4th 5 count. I didn't know what the king's name was. So let me grab that. Sixth year. So that does need to be in the 6th year. For king whoever. On the 5th day. The 6th. And they counted 5 weeks at a time, so it's 5 count is the way I would have said. I don't know what they use as the word month, but I don't want to be confused with how I know that they had a 5 counting of 7 days, and then they started again. It's not based on the moon month, in other words. This would be on the 13th year. Which this means this is going to happen before that. And if And I'm thinking, because this guy only lived 2 years, it might have this king here right now, again, pointing to. Yeah, I'm going to save this now and then continue. And he has a home, not a house. The home is for just people. A house is going to be like that has servants for. Just a difference when I'm using the words. With the elders, it can't be elders. Elders. Judah is the kingdom, so, and the other tribes have come down, so this could be elders from that have fled that I was telling you about. Yeah, this is not making sense to me. They wouldn't write it because I'm looking for a two major words, and I've got 3 here and this one here. So this means that one of them is not going to be there. Send me for me. And you can't have the hand fall on him there. So that is out. Which means pretty much I'm thinking all this is out, but I'm going to leave it unedited right now and see what happens here. This is what he's going to see. But this has to be in a vision I looked. Then I looked. Now, I've actually met with a few of these guys that glow like metal. And that's the only way you can say it, except for when you're trying to describe the color. And it's not really orange, and it's not really bronze, but I use it. I try to say it as bronze, but glowing metal is a good description because it does give that orange, but it doesn't give the true color, like the appearance of glowing metal. Yeah, so that's just about what I've been saying here. So if I have, he's going to see them as well. And it's not from he. Like the appearance of a male. And I'm going to put a male because there's no sex when you're meeting these beings. And they are from our Creator, but they aren't like angels that are in their glory, which means they're shining white. Their appearance is white. But like a male is what I want to. A likeness of a male. But he's not really bright, but he is. His appearance is brighter. And I'm going to have to put the word his here. His appearance of brightness is like if I get rid of this and use the word here from here, is that I'm adding this. Is like glowing metal. This is wrong. Not this, nor this. So if I have a 4-verse going here, this has to start out as in a vision. In a vision I looked. Coming from our Creator, I looked. In a vision I saw. But what he is seeing is coming from our Creator, so it's all capital. I saw a likeness of a male. And his appearance of brightness is like glowing metal. Boy, that's okay. I can agree with all this as being truthful. He stretched out his hand, because they do have hands. They don't have any wings. And it's not that, it's reached out. Reached out. this this might all have to be in green text. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to, because I try to get angels or the beings that appear given the color of a text, so when you read in it, you're getting the meaning that all this text is about. So I can color that later, but I want to make sure that I remember to do that green. So as I reached out, should have been this. Reached out. It was hand. Not by the lock of his hair. That's just wrong. Let's see if he lifted him up. If I'm looking here, oh, now I know what this story's about. Okay. He reached out his hand. Lifted me up. This wouldn't be needed. And he lifted me up to bring me. And this I've got to do like that. And he lifted me up to bring me. This is wrong. Now, where is he bringing him? First, going to have to look north. Then he's going to bring him. Okay, he's bringing him to the fence around the courtyard. So he lifted me up to bring me to Jerusalem's entrance. Oops. The northern gate. Now that is comma here, period here, comma here, period here. going to save there. So now this is nothing. This is all wrong. This is just crap stuck in the middle. Which was located behind the glory of our God, of the God of Israel was there. And behold the glory. This could be the eastern gate because I guess I gotta do a little visual here for you with my hands. So I don't know how it's going to look to you on the video, but if you're looking down at the map of Jerusalem, from the east when it comes in, the hill country's going up and down. So Jesus descended and ascended into Jerusalem. And this means that there would have been a gate there, and then there would have been this way of getting to the other parts of Jerusalem. But this wall or this gate, is it just a wall where they get to pass through? Because his house is located right here. And what it is it's known to be like 100 cubics, which is like 300 feet. Okay, I believe it's 300 feet in square. And the priests are going to sit around here, and they're going to sit around all the way around his courtyard. That way they went to their priest, and then so there has to be this road at least to go, because I've seen Jerusalem and I'm not sure how. I know what the text tells me, but I'm not seeing it in the structure there of where the walls would actually be. But the way I understand the text, the priests have to be sitting around it. The gate to get to this courtyard is in the south. So there's got to be this road that's going down here, then another road here, and then below down here is where the kings would live. So when they went at the gate to prophesy, the guards would hear the prophet tell somebody, come out and watch him, listen to him, whatever, and record what he's saying, and then the prophet would leave. But that's how I know this land is laid out. And by the way, when the road comes down this way, this corner across from the king's house, or the road for the king's house here, is where the priests and their attendants would live. So that's, I don't, maybe that's how big their courtyard was as well. So it was pretty large of a place. So knowing all that, if he brought him up to the eastern gate, this would be not court. This would have to be courtyard. And because it's our Creator's courtyard. And this would have to be by the fence. even though it's going to be made out of limestone, it's known as a fence. I can't come up with another. By the wall for the courtyard. This is by the wall or the courtyard. And they see, now we know, because it's not seats of jealousy, these are the seats. It has to be seats where the priest seats are. I put their seats are like that. But if I do it this way, I get to keep more. So let me do it this way. And I'm going to put word priest seats are located. Now I'm thinking, where's my fourth verse? This now has to be East Gate. Jerome's entrance. And by the East Gate. And it's got to be S. They're big. By the East. Is that S? Yeah, I think this is better. East Gates. By the wall for a courtyard where the priest's seats are located. Around the wall. And this wall belongs to our creator, so. But I've got to say I'm adding this where the seats. because this is the way they encamped around his tent for meeting with him when they traveled. They traveled by they were to camp in order of the eldest son to the youngest son, from along the south side going up to the north. It would be the youngest. So there's 3 seats on each side. Okay, now what I'm looking for is, how did he get to see all these walls around? So he's got to be lifted up, and then he's showing all the walls in the entrance. Gotta be. And lifted me up to show me. To show me Jerusalem's entrance by the east gates. And the walls for this courtyard, the priest's seats are located all around the wall. Now it should make sense. And the walls for his courtyard, the seats for the priests are located around the walls. I need LS here, and need this where the seats are. Good. Where the priests all around the walls. Okay, that was a struggle, but now it makes sense. And said, so they connect together, and the walls for his courtyard where the seats are located for the priests around the walls, and the walls. And this is along the wall. Do I need S? And the walls for his courtyard where the seats are located for the priests along the wall. Yeah, I guess that would be good enough. Okay. Now I'll save that. Now this, I got rid of all this because it's really kind of stupid. He doesn't need all these platforms and the gleaming this color and so-called, what do they call them? They were calling the angels different because they had them like having 6 wings or something. Get rid of all that and it just disappears. He saw our creator. Okay. But they're sneaking these words in. So let's get rid of them. Where is he at? He's on the north side. Okay, so let me see here. I've got this not knowing where it's going. And there's this. You know what? I'm going to edit this and I'm going to think this is going to be a piece that's going to go someplace else. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen with this text now because it's such a good grouping. As I was sitting in my home with I'm not going to say elders, men from Judah. And Judah's got to be I'm going to say they're bad at this time because I think this is what's going to be as bad. I think and I'm going to leave this I'm going to leave it alone now because I don't know if it's going to be a 3-verse or a 4-verse. In a vision I saw a likeness of a male, and his appearance of brightness is like glowing metal, and he reached out his hand and lifted me up to show me Jerusalem's entrance by the east gates, and the walls for his courtyard where the seats are located for the priests along the wall. Then he said to me, it can't be raised yet. It has to be like, look with your eyes. Now he wants them to towards the north. So he will, but that still doesn't tell us where he's at. Said to me, with my eyes. Altar gate. There is no such thing as altar gate. It's the gate of a... This is all wrong. If he's at the gate, and this is the gate for the entrance. Gates entrance. And the gated. This would be our Creator's gated entrance. This is altars because there's one large one and then there's 13 of them and then there's his house. So these are his altars. Whoops. This would have to be if he's looking. Look with your eyes. They said to me, look with your eyes. I looked with if I'm having trouble with this looking here because I just got done telling you that the south gate, when you open it up, you're going to see the altars from the gated entrance, by the gated entrance. So this means that all of a sudden the gates had to open up. The gated entrance opened and I beheld the altars. This is not going to be there. What do you see? Do you see what they are doing now. Let's see here. This has to be then. Then he said to me, see what they're doing. And this is going to be the fourth verse of this one. Then he asked me, let's get it right. Then he asked me, I got to make it yellow because if I put it in green, you ain't going to see it. Then he asked me, do you see what they are doing this abomination is evilness, what they are doing but maybe it's not here. Maybe this is not here. Just be an assumption that he says these words. So he said to me, look with your eyes towards his house. Put towards here, and put his house here. But since it's going to be evilness that they're seeing, it's not going to be his house anymore. It's going to be, that's how I represent. But I got to put it this way, his house. I'm to your eyes towards his house. So I looked with my eyes. And I looked with my eyes. And towards his house. They're at the altars. as he's looking up. It has to be somewhere the gates opened. Or do I take the words by the gated entrance and put this here? And I looked with my eyes. By the ungated entrance. Because what do you see? And these got to be seeing the priest by the altars. So it's got to be priests by the altars, and this here too, now that our Creator's gone, I get there, but to represent them, adding this. Okay, I'm going to have to do this. And this is just too big of text for that. Well, I got to start here. New verses. So if I take this text, let's see if I'm going to copy it, but I'm going to make it this, and then this yellow, and then this here, 8-point, but it's got to be yellow. Then I can get rid of this. This means I moved it up here by the ungated entrance. I looked with my eyes. Not by, it's got to be through. I use this type of through because I don't want to put the full word in. Through the ungated entrance and towards his house. So it has to be, I saw. I saw the priest by the altars. Now, if I put the word sacrificing, this is how the pagans would make their offering to their God. And what they would do is they would kill the animal on the altar. Then they would clean it, roast it, and then eat it. Whereas our Creator had them sacrifice the animal, goat or ram, or even doves, out by the courtyard or around the courtyard wall. Then put the muscles on the plate, which was the action of the sin. And then they would hang it on the altar, and then they would put fire under it for it to go up as a burnt, to burn it crispy and fast, to show that the smoke rising from this burnt meat would then disappear, like the forgiveness of sin. So, sacrificing. But if I put the word sacrificing, this is now known as their practice for their God. I don't think I got that spelled right. Sacrificing. Should be black in that bowl. And then I would say I need that here. Okay, now you know that what this is an abomination. Then he asked me, do you see? Do you see them? For what they are doing is a great sin, and that's belong to another God. One of the 12 commandments. Is a great sin. What they are doing is greater than sinning. So I think that's better said. Okay. Boy, this might be a very long, although the first part of this, yeah, I could throw out the first part. So this one here, I'm going to be able to get rid of. It's only 17 verses long, but I'm only on 6. So is greater than sin. Now, again, this is what they're doing at King Manasseh's time. So this is coming from this king's timeline here. That's for sure. Now, greater than sin. Yet, like tribes for Israel. Now, this means that he's comparing it to Israel, who has already been taken away. This Israel, meaning the nation here, that's gone into captivity. Yet, like the house, like the tribes for Israel, had committed. It'll be in their land, period. And this word here, can I put it to here just to see if it's going to go someplace else? Like to triumph for Israel had committed in their land. Now here, where here, this will be by my house, by that was I say that those two go together and that this group is going to be gone. Then these two here go together, because that's continuing. These two go together. And those two to go together. Okay. So it's coming out as a 4-verse format down here. A little slower, but it's getting there. In the wall, so this can't be. Then he brought me not to the entrance, to the back. And why I'm saying back of the house is because that's where his meeting room is at. Okay. The first part, when you go through the doors, that first part, 20 by 40 cubics, is got a lot of things in it. The plates, the knives, the robes that they're going to wear. There's going to be some poles if they still left them there from when they used to carry the tent for meeting. But this has got to be at the back. And so this, then he brought me to the back of his house. And I looked. I saw a hole. How do I do this? To do this here. A hole in the wall. Which is the back of his house. And as I looked, and as looked, I saw a hole in the wall. Said, dig through it. Now you can see why I'm using this word. Said to me, dig through it. So I dug through the wall and entrance. I dug through the wall and entrance. One of the easier ones that I've done, but that means that's a group. Go in and look. Then he said, go this has to be then he told me, go in and see their evil. Now this has got to be talking about their idols. Their evil is to mean against our Creator. Their evil. I'm going to put idols here. And I think it's close enough to say this is the intent of the word, because it's listed down farther what it is. So they're evil idols. Not committing, but placed there. Committing. So let's see here. First time I'm going to the text here today, and it's got to be verse 9. So they brought in here. Keep here. They put here is only once. So what I'm seeing here is I can think of the word brought.
Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? In Mark chapter 13, verse...
Sorry about that. I keep forgetting that, that they... in here. Brought in here. That they I guess I can leave it as that. Sorry. As I entered and looked, I saw I could say saw up here. As I entered, I saw that you didn't see everything, but you've seen many. Every could be all forms. Forms. Of things, of idols and beasts. Now this, now you have to remember what's on the backside is the two angels, the chest, the mercy seat. The table would be looking, if our Creator is looking this way, southwards. To his right would be the table that has the lampstand and the oil and the two bowls of wheat, I believe. I think there's two bowls of wheat. Or it could just be one. But what I'm looking at here is how do I get the word carved on the walls? But that means that they wouldn't have been carving them on that wall. They would have been carving them on the two walls and the door to entrance. So I don't know if that really needs to be. Not carved on the wall, but placed on the wall. That they made shelvings for them and they put them up there. Walls. It'd be all around. If I get rid of this and this, of idols and beasts were placed on the walls. I'm going to put man beasts. Oh. And that means like half man, half beast. And they also have symbols for women. You'll see her tied to the owl. Now, this text, they would have to be, there's not room inside a 20 by 20. It's them to be doing this. It's a 30-foot by 30-foot wall room, but the angels that are carved, their one wing is touching the wall as they're facing. So we're cutting out quite a distance of that. So maybe 10 foot of that room. And the table's on one side. You can't. So I'm thinking, okay, he's seen this. Now he's got to be back in front of them. Because they can't be on the walls in this many. This is 70 elders. And they would be priests. Standing in front of them. Each priest so there's 12 priests. They had, let's just say they had 2 servants, that's 36. Then the high priest, and then he would have used the other priests to help him out doing his offering on the main, the large altar. So we got 37. So to put in a vision, that could happen. Okay. So if I put 3 10s and 7 priests, be 4 the tribes. From Israel the male. Gets to be a 4 verse. So, okay. Now, if I got that as a double space here, okay, then this has got to be a double space. So I do have to have what they were doing here. So each priest had the censer is where they put incense in it, and it's hanging from a chime or ropes, and they're waving it. Censer, not in his hand, from his hand. Now this here, I've included the high priest here, so I guess that's kind of what I was looking for, is if I used one of these guys' names as a high priest, and I don't see that. So what I'm seeing is each priest had a censer from his hand. Seeing a cloud causing We'll change this to smoke to be more truthful than a cloud. Causing the cloud sense with a censer from his hand. Do I put the word smoke in front of the word fragrance? Get rid of this. Causing smoke sense to rise. Each priest had a censer from his hand and causing smoke. Each had a censer. I do this. Each had a censer. Hanging or waving from his hand. I think that's a better way of saying it, because each priest, we know that they're priests from here. So each had a censer waving from his hand, causing smoke from the incense to rise. I don't think this is good enough. I'm not getting the word causes. Waving his hand. Fragrant incense. Waving his hand. The fragrant incense. Each had a censer waving from his hand. Fragrant incense.
Here's what we're looking for, and the fragrant incense, which I'm saying I'm just borrowing. And fragrant incense. Fragrant incense. Nope, if I get rid of this and go back to here, and fragrant smoke. The no, I added this, get rid of this. It's rising. Okay, I think that. All right, I just seen your post from Are You Religious? Yes. In fact, I'll tell you, our Creator made me see him 8 times. Our Creator is a being of pure white light. That's the way he shows, or he made me see him. That is the way he appeared over the mercy seat when the priest came in to ask for forgiveness. So in Daniel, it talks about how Daniel said that from his light he spake to Daniel. Yes, what I'm doing is finding the first writer's formats, and then I'm putting the text hopefully in order as much as I can. This is what I found in Ezekiel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now, or 6, up to 6. And what their format looks like is I'm using 2 major words in a verse, okay? And this 4-verse format is a comma and a period, and a comma and a period. And what you'll see is that this group makes a small paragraph. There's a very similar like wording for these 2 to become like a larger group format, or a larger group paragraph. And then you can see I've got them spaced and the subject starts changing. But this is found pretty much in the text as I'm going through it. And on my editing is what really makes the difference of why I'm changing the words, because of the knowledge our Creator has given me. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I can probably say I averaged at least 3 hours a day studying the text for 29 years, 7 days a week, all them years. So what you see here is then me honoring and respecting our Creator by putting the words in all capital letters. And then here I needed to make a few corrections yet in the text. But this is Ezekiel, and it's talking about Jerusalem will be like a siege, or buy bricks, place them before you, and write Jerusalem, and then make it like a siege, and he's going to put battering rams around it. Now, what this is talking about is a prophecy. This is talking about what's going to happen in this king's day. Ezekiel seems to be coming from this day right here in his days. So he's prophesying a few years ahead of time, which is usually how the text shows. how it shows up. So what you're seeing here is that the text that I just went through here is that he's being taken in a vision. Let's see, this one here. This is out. This is going to go someplace else. But in a vision, I saw a male, and his appearance of brightness is like glowing metal. I've seen 3 of these, and I'll say they're angels, or they're messengers from our Creator. So I've even talked to one, but they don't talk back. They didn't talk back to me. Here, his vision, they are talking to him. So I am a witness to these beings as appearing. That's why I can correct the text. And then when it gets up here, he's going to show him Jerusalem's entrance by the east gate. And then he's going to go look at the walls around the courtyard, and this is where the priests sit. They're located. And then here in this vision, he says, okay, now that I've taken you around the walls, I want you to look with your eyes towards his house. And as he looked with his eyes through the ungated entrance now, because the gate is on the south side, towards his house, and I should have made that yellow or green because I'm changing this word here to be a better word. Then he sees priests by the altar sacrificing. Now that's why they have seats around the house, around his courtyard wall, is that they would sacrifice the animal there, and then for like the ram or goat, then they would take the hide off and then remove the muscles. The muscles were showing the action of the sin. They would be taken onto these altars and then burnt. So he's standing outside the courtyard fence and he's seeing the smoke arise, which means sin is going to be forgiven. Then the priest would go in and bow with reverence before our Creator's mercy seat that the 2 angels are holding up above the chest, and ask if this male or head of the family is truly forgiven, and that if they're forgiven, they stay in the nation of Israel or in the promised land, or they are sent out as captives. So when he sends away Israel and Judah, they're going, that was part of the 12 commandments that our Creator made with them in the Sinai. And these you can find in Exodus 21 through 17. These are 12. And he says to bring a sin offering. So there's only 12 sins. But it is when he sounded the horn and everyone was there, then he tells them what these are. And then down here he tells them it's an agreement. And don't break this agreement or I'm going to cast you away. So here he's seeing them going on, breaking the commandments by going on to other gods. These people meditate to have sex with a so-called female goddess. So this is Ra, the sun god, and his daughter is the moon goddess. This is Athena, but you can see the moon goddess. And this crescent moon you'll see on Islamic flags is the day that they're going to have this sex practice with the female goddess. And a male's maleness retracts inside his body like an animal. This is on the Vatican's corner of their Vatican. And this is a symbol from the zodiac sign. And this is the symbol for a woman. The animal that they use for a woman is an owl that has this sex practice. But these are what's truly known as mankind. And what I had to do here in the text I had to add the word man there at one point. Maybe I've gone past it. Maybe it's been a while. Nope, down here yet. Yeah, I had to add man beasts here. Okay. So these are the things that they put in on his wall in his meeting room. And then the priests are all standing around, and I just got done figuring out this next 4-verse grouping, that they had their censers in their hand, they're waving from their hand fragrant smoke from the incense, for the incense was rising. I guess I don't have that smoothed out, but I guess I can't say I'm religious. I know our Creator exists. So I've got maybe 700 videos up, and what I'm doing is recording my knowledge for the future of why I changed words, and what I'm doing here for them to understand why each word is the way it is, because I'm able to get into more details. I have a software I've got a cold right now, but this is the New American Standard text from 1977. This program no longer exists, because when I showed them what I was doing with this over 30 years ago, you won't see this software, because what they've done with this concordance, when I click on a word here, over here, it shows you how many times each word is being used. So not every word is the same word in the Bible. And they knew when I started teaching people this, they freaked out, they pulled it off the market. So that's what I'm doing. But I don't have this one cleaned up the way I wanted it to when you posted. So each had a censer waving from his hand, and fragrance and fragrant smoke from the incense was rising. Okay, I guess I got that right. Now, what I've got here is I've got 2 spaces here, 2 spaces here, and these two just went together. So now I'm just put a space, and I'm looking to see what else is being said by our Creator here, or in this vision. Now this is sitting and meditating, committing in darkness. They're sitting in darkness. You might have seen this picture before, pictures like it on the internet, because this is from the internet. It's called Kundalini. So if you search the word Kundalini or Kundalini, Lini, this is what's going on inside their body, of the energy that you need to break through to always have a sex with the so-called female goddess, and you must remain single after that. So all these symbols, these things are repeatable. They're just saying it in a different way, but they're jumping up and down saying, hey, I do this practice. So, and I'm removing the words from the Bible, because I can show you here. This is text from the 1611 preface. These are the translator's words, and the translators are calling Gregory the divine. And then down here, They say, lastly, and the end reward of the study of the text that you're going to read is just to have a fellowship with the saints and a participation of a heavenly nature. Most people read the Bible to hopefully obey our Creator and enter into heaven. But notice how they were all happy here when the Roman emperor corrected the calendar according to the course of the sun, and they have the word sun with a capital S, which is Ra, the sun god. But what this is telling us behind the scenes, why they corrected is because when Nebuchadnezzar got done eating grass, he declared the Hebrew God is the highest God, and he put all Babylon onto our Creator's calendar, which is the summer solstice, is the first day of the year. So, but they're all happy that he corrected it to the Egyptian god, and that's why you'll see an Egyptian obelisk in the courtyard of the Vatican. Now these he can't say because he's already said that that's what I just did, was these are the greater ones here of them doing this inside his house. So then he said to me, if I get rid of this one, said to me, it's not elders, the subject is priests. The priest. Let's see, I'm changing this word from this word. Said to me, whoops, the priest down here. This has to be tribes. Said to me, the priest for the tribes. This is their each has a room. Now this, to understand, I don't know if, I did say that in this video, that the east gate of Jerusalem is here, the house and fence going around the courtyard is here, the king's house is down here, and then these rooms where the priests live are over here on this side. Each has a room. or their carved image, which gonna go like this. So this is a comma. This will be a period, or yeah, period. This will be a comma. This will be a period. Now I gotta find and they say to YV. But they mock him, so I gotta put it as we know who he does not see us. Nor will, and when I add and I need it as a second word for the verse, I'm using not in the see here or does in see as the, no, I need the word not first as the major word. Nor will YV, this here has got to be, they don't recognize him, so to let the reader understand we're talking about our creator with a little respect, but they aren't giving him respect. That's how nor will YV. Um, it's nation. It's not just land. They can't be talking about the nation. It has to be about nor forsake our. They would have to put our nation. And because it's a similar like word, I'm not going to say I'm adding this word. It's too close to the meaning. Will not forsake. And just get rid of this. Not forsake our nation. So that's the two groups for that. But that's what they're saying. Boy, there's quite a bit. There's 18 more verses. Okay, well, it's only been 2 hours and 20 minutes, so that's not bad then. Now this I don't need here because this is just going to be, yeah, this has already been said. It's not a temple. Our creator already has his hidden formats, and I've got that listed in the YouTube description. And I know that these words are in that. but I've juggled the verses around. Because he's already brought him. Well, he's in his meeting room, and he's seeing them this. Then he says this. Then he brought me to Prince Gate. His house. Towards the south. And why is it towards the south is because when our Creator had Moses set up his tent for meeting, he told him to hang the curtains for his meeting room with an opening to the south. So that's, and he would not change it, and they would not change it. So word south is towards the south. Behold, women were sitting for Asherah. And this is one of the three goddesses, moon goddesses, three daughters of the moon goddess. And to make sure you understand that, here's each of their names. 1, 2, 3. You know, I'm usually use this one, Asherah. Okay. And so, thinking I always use this one. But those are the three daughters. That it's not Phoenicians, it's from Ra, the sun god, Egyptian, everything. Asherah. Weeping, sitting for Asherah. In other words, meditating. But that's the end of that subject. This has been said. towards the sunrise. To finish this group and make it a 4-verse. And I'm going to add that. Okay. Now we got the women involved in the same practice, which means all of Judah seems to be doing this practice. And where I get that from is this is what comes up in Malachi 2:11. Judah has married the daughter of a foreign god. The foreign god is Ra. The daughter is the sun god or the moon goddess. And how you marry them is to have a sit and meditate and wait. And if you've ever studied mythology, you will see Athena spring forth inside Zeus's head, not forth from his head, but they try to teach you how to be for them, because mythology is a prerequisite in college, or it used to be for I don't know how many years. Might even be still. Behold, women were sitting. Wait a second, maybe. But if he's brought them here to the inner court, courtyard, then he brought me inside the courtyard into the inner. Is what I'm going to say is I'm replacing this word. Then he brought me inside the courtyard. Now, if I'm going to add women, it'd be a perfect place to put it here and not use this, because I borrowed this. That doesn't need to be there. Put this in later. This was all added by me. So if I get rid of all this and this, because I corrected, I've already got now where he's at. So I get rid of that. And then he brought me inside the courtyard. towards the east. I think that's would be at this. And I'm going to put and the priests. Priests. Faces. And the priest faced. Resting would be prostrating, would be meditating. Stored towards the sunrise. Okay. These two go together. Okay. This I've already got. I don't need the word faced here now. Don't need any of this. And I don't need any of this. Because I have the number. Then he brought me inside the courtyard, and they were meditating eastward toward the sunrise. This he wouldn't be saying he's going to continue. Brought me inside the courtyard. They're meditating eastward toward the sunrise. Said to me, and as since they're in his house, this is going to be all talked about in Jerusalem. said to me, now I don't need this, I guess, what I just carved out. If I don't use this, then he said to me, the leaders for Judah the teachers, scribes, things like that. The teachers for Judah I'm going to put do these abominations and use like they they do here. And this now this actually goes together now. I didn't think it was going to. Then he brought me inside the courtyard, and they were meditating eastward towards the sunrise. He said to me, the teachers for Judah do these abominations like they do here. Okay. They have filled this, I don't think is needed. They have filled the land they have committed in the land. They've filled the land with violence and evilness. I'm going to have to put 2. And he's talking about our Creator. This is going to be the angel speaking. They provoked. They provoked. They provoke him repeatedly. This has to be his eye. His eyes. Will not pity them. Okay, I think I got that. His eyes will not pity them, to provoke him repeatedly. Don't need the word therefore. If I put the word his wrath here, I don't think these words are needed. In his wrath. Indeed. I got to have a better word for me here in 18. Even in his, I can use the word even. I use the word even here. You filled the land with violence and evilness. So it would be likewise in his wrath. It would be better to provoke him repeatedly. So likewise in his, And I thought I seen likewise here. No, I don't see that, but, oh, yeah, likewise, right here, 5 times. Okay, so I can use the word so like so he will be so he will be likewise in his wrath. His eyes will not pity them, nor will now this is directly speaking to the ones that are doing this practice. I'm going to put the word although all here. Although they will do him he will not listen to them. Oh, oops. And it's this word. Okay, now this one cleaned up pretty good. Took a long time for this text to come through. Not sure this right date here is going to make it, but it's okay. I will correct it as it goes on. Now let me see, did I put boys, those verses were a lot of text within them. In the 6th year for King whoever, on the 5th day of the 6th 5 count, as I was sitting in my home. Yeah, this is subject to not being there. Then this here, I'm going to skip this. This is going to start this is what he's seeing. And this is green text. It's like glowing metal. Need 2 of them. Reached out his hand. Lifted me up to show me Jerusalem's entrance by the east gates. And the walls usually I only use this green as to say that this is what he's saying. So if I put it as what he's doing, up to show me Jerusalem entrance by the east gate and the walls for his courtyard, where the seats are located for the priests along the wall. Then he said to me, look towards his house. And I looked with my eyes through the ungated entrance and towards his house. I saw the priest by his altar sacrificing. Then he asked me, what do you see they're doing? It's greater than sin. Yet like the tribes for Israel, they committed in their land. Now here, and by, so I'm going to have to change all these to gray text that I'm adding. Now, then brought me to the back of his house, and as I looked, I saw a hole in the wall, and he said to me, dig through it. So I dug through the wall and entrance, 2 spaces. Then he told me, go in and see their evil idols that they brought in here. As I entered, I saw all forms of idols and man-beasts were placed on the walls. And standing in front of them were the priests, were 37 priests, for the tribes from Israel. Each had a censer waving from his hand, and fragrant smoke from the incense was rising. Then he said, the priest each has a room. Not for, but with their carved image. It's like a private room. That's what I'm looking for here. Say to YV, he does not see us. Forsake our nation. Then he brought me in the courtyard, and they were meditating eastwards towards the sunrise. And he said to me, teachers for Judah, like they do here, boy, did it break. They filled the land with violence and evilness to provoke him repeatedly. So he will be likewise in his wrath. I will not pity them. Spare them. You know what? I think in all this should be green as well. And that finished up really good. It had a good ending here. I mean, it's telling a story of that vision, which is quite a bit for one group of one chapter, which I'm happy about. So the thing there is I'm going to call this video done, and I'm going to start on the next video. Well, maybe not today, but again tomorrow. Have a great one. Stop by. Yeah, you get it. You've heard me before.